Welcome to the Amarillo Exchange Club After Hours podcast. We're here today with Kayla. She is the owner of Shadow Hound Investigations. Would you like to tell us a little bit about Shadow Hound?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a private investigator here in Amarillo.
Okay. What does a private investigator entail here in Amarillo?
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So, think of your classic private investigator like you've seen on TV.
Like movies and things like that?
Yeah, and then take all of the cool stuff out of that.
Okay.
Hollywood is great at romanticizing, but the reality of it is there's a lot of legality that goes into it. I'm governed by Texas DPS, so you have to be licensed, you have to be insured, you have to comply with DPS's rules and regulations, and none of that makes for good TV. So it's a lot of knowing the rules, following the rules, protecting people's rights, and still working to get those answers, to get that truth.
Okay. So have you ever been on Cops?
I have not personally been on Cops. I was on a series called Jail Big Texas.
Okay. I don't know if I ever heard of that.
Yeah. Every now and then, like, they'll air a rerun, and somebody will be like, I saw you on TV. And I'm like, we don't have to talk about that.
When was that?
Oh, gosh. That would have been probably 2014-ish.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Okay. So about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to put a number on it like that.
Well, let's see. So that was 2000, you said 13, 14-ish.
Yeah.
So when did you start your business, or so let's go back. When did you first start getting into, like law or the police force, and then how did that kind of get you into private investigation?
Yeah, for sure. So I started my career in 2012. I graduated high school in June, and I went to work in August.
Okay.
So I started as a corrections officer in the Randall County Jail, and while I was working there, I went to the police academy, graduated from the police academy, and spent some more time at Randall until I was hired by the city of Canyon, and I was a patrolman there for a while.
Okay.
And then promoted to corporal, and then eventually sergeant. And man, it was some of the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah.
In my entire life. It was a blast. And through that is where I really found my passion in digging deeper. Because not every radio call was something that required like a full investigative response, right? But there would be calls where it's like, okay, hey, I can really dig into this, and I was fortunate to work for an agency that encouraged that.
Okay.
They were like, hey, if you want to see it all the way through, you can see it all the way through. Or do as much as you can on the patrol side, put it all together with a bow on it, and CID detectives, they'll take over and get it presented, and things like that. So having the opportunity as a young patrol officer to kind of find my footing and figure out, okay, this kind of situation, I should ask these questions. And on this, I should do this. I should pursue this line of questioning or this procedure. Really kind of laid my groundwork.
Okay.
And so I owe all of my success these days to those early days, that early foundation.
Yeah. So as opposed to, routine traffic stops, you kind of got more interested in the more kind of involved things going on.
Yeah.
Like at home sort of things where you have to look into things.
Absolutely.
More than just, I clocked you doing 75 and a 70.
Right. And I had fun running traffic and meeting people that way, but really getting to dig in and
I'm sure they didn't have much fun meeting you that way.
I tried to be, but yeah, really getting to dig in and look at the bigger picture.
Yep.
And start putting puzzle pieces together. That's what made my brain tick.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So what would you say your biggest influence on getting into that was, as like just getting into sort of like police work, any of that? Because a lot of kids when they're young, they want to be a cop or a firefighter or
Sure.
an astronaut, but then that very quickly changes.
Sure.
So what were your reasonings, I guess, to say like, this is what I want to do, this is what I've kind of always wanted to do, or even if it hadn't been what you always wanted to do, just kind of how did that, who influenced you to do that?
So definitely, without question, that would be my dad.
Okay.
My dad was an Amarillo policeman for my entire life, my entire childhood. And I grew up watching him do that. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
You mean they pay you to drive fast and carry a gun and like look for bad guys and stuff? And that was just the coolest thing to me. And so from an early age, like that's what I wanted. I would go outside and play with my friends, and it was cops and robbers.
Cops and robbers.
But you're the robber, you know. And
I'm never the bad guy.
That's right, and I always win, right? Because good always wins,
yep.
And just watching him. And I remember when I got hired for the jail, he was like, "Oh man, like."
He didn't want his little girl in there.
Yeah, he was like, "I tried to get you to not. But you are.
Yeah.
So do it the best that you can." And, you know, I've always been Dad's girl. And that brought us even closer together.
Yeah. Well, cool.
And so, yeah, absolutely. Hands down, Dad. And then I've got several family members that are still in the business, several that are still at APD. So we're either cops, nurses, or teachers. Blood makes me dizzy.
Okay.
And I'm done with the classroom. So
do you have any siblings?
I do. I have.
Are they involved in the police force, or
No.
are they the nurses that you're talking about?
My brother, I have an older brother. He's 7 years older than me. He's living in New Mexico, and he is the manager of a Walgreens there, and just killing it corporate wise.
Cool.
And then I've got 2 younger step siblings.
Okay. What did they do?
So my step sister just had a baby, and so she's stepping into.
She's momming it right now.
She's momming it.
All right.
And my stepbrother, he lives with my dad and my stepmom, and he is legally blind.
Oh, okay.
And he actually...
So they're kind of caretakers, I guess, to a certain extent?
To a certain extent. He actually runs his own business. He's a welder.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, his
Okay.
business is blind eye welding, and he's phenomenal.
Okay. So it's all by feel and just knowing.
He can still see some.
Okay.
And
like,
he's
like a shadows and
right,
darts,
and he's really excelled in welding because he can get close. You know, he's got the mask, he can get close, and he's killing it.
Very cool. That's awesome. I might
Yeah.
have to check him out.
Yeah,
does he do like signs, or does he just do like kind of like machine work for people?
A
or
little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, very cool.
He's got a Facebook page. Give him a check out.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to look at it. Well, cool. Well, all right. So going past like family and work and things like that, what are some things that you like to do just you? Like if you didn't have to go to work and you didn't have to take your family with you, what would you like to do?
Man, I love to fish. I love to fish.
Very
I grew
cool.
up fishing and four-wheeling. So that will always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
But man, I'm a nerd. Like I'm a reader.
Okay.
I love to read. My goal is a book a week.
What kind of books?
So for a long time, I wouldn't touch anything fiction. I wanted nonfiction, because I like to learn.
Yeah.
And then I accidentally read a fiction book, and I fell in love with it.
The imagination.
Yeah.
And
I'm reading a series right now, and that's the fiction book that I read by accident. And then I discovered it was part of a series. And now I'm just having to power through the entire series because it's a great story.
Are you learning anything?
No.
Just enjoying
I'm
it.
just entertained.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah.
When I was younger, there was a couple of girls, and that's all they did was read. And I would always tell, like, a couple of my friends that were giving them a hard time, like, I wish that I liked to read because it's like, well, now we do. You have like your little portable TV with you, but I would always tell everybody in school, like, it's basically like having a portable TV to bring with you to like be entertained whenever you don't have anything to do.
That's right.
So I wish I liked to read more, but I don't. I'll be honest, I'm not.
Fair enough.
I'm not the biggest reader, but I do like to read occasionally.
I love a good story.
Yeah. I'm kind of like you. I'm more of a nonfiction. I like to read. Yeah, things that I can kind of learn from, things that make more sense to me as opposed to like putting it together through imagination. Although that is fun, that's what movies are for.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, yep.
Okay, well, so let's see. So where do you see, so where your business is at right now, how far has it come, and then where do you see yourself trying to put your business in the future?
We've come a long way. So when this first started, it was just me, and I was trying to figure everything out on my own, from an investigation standpoint, but also just from being a business owner. And that was a lot. And the group helped tremendously with figuring out the business side, which allowed me to focus more on the investigation
just
side.
Having people to talk to about business, like
yes,
without,
and you may have encountered something a couple years ago that I'm just now facing, and you already have the roadmap, and so that really helped me navigate those things so that I could really focus on this, and so that was huge. And then once I started getting the brand and the name out there, I got to the point where I was so busy that I couldn't manage it. And I've been, and that's a blessing.
Yep.
It is a blessing to be overwhelmed.
To have to want to hire somebody.
To be overwhelmed by what you prayed for.
Yep.
And so I got to bring on another investigator, and she's been a huge blessing. She's helped me tremendously. My dad got licensed, and so he's helping me out, and I mean, it's great. Long term, so right now there's different licensing types through DPS, and I have an A license, which is an investigative license. I would eventually like to get a C license, which allows for investigations and like armed security.
Okay.
And what that would allow us to do is, say you're having an event or something like that, and you want, say, plainclothes security for that event. You can contact me. I have people that are fully certified, that are fully trained. It's not just Joe Blow with a gun. These are people that are trained in tactics, firearms, medicine, if it's needed. Okay. And we can come into your event, plainclothes.
Just a part of the crowd.
Just a part of the crowd. You know that we're there. If there's a problem, we can deal with that. Otherwise, you don't give your crowd that feeling of, oh, we're being watched, if that makes sense. Yeah. And to be able to offer those services to other businesses, events, churches is a big one. That would be my ultimate, like, 5-year kind of goal.
Okay. Very cool. I guess I always knew about security, but I never really thought about, like, what the reasoning, I guess one of the reasonings for, like, plainclothes security to not make people feel like they're being watched, I guess. Like,
right. Right. And 99% of people are good people, and they are at your event to have a good time. You retain security for that 1%.
Yeah. Yep.
Make your 99% feel secure, and then by having plainclothes, your 1% maybe doesn't know, right?
They're being taken care of in a different way.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you done any events before that kind of gave you that idea to want to do that, or?
Yeah, so law enforcement officers work what we call off-duty jobs all the time. You can call your local police department and be like, hey, we're having an event, we're having a concert, I want 2 officers with a patrol vehicle. And each agency has their own like off-duty rate per officer.
I was actually I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
How much does that cost?
Yeah.
Or like,
it just varies from agency.
okay.
And give them the date, what you want, and those guys will show up, and you pay them to be there. But you're going to get guys that are in full uniform, Batman belt, all that good stuff, and a marked vehicle.
All right.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
And for some events, that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want a visible presence, a visible
You want
deterrent.
people to say like, hey, before we even have this idea, let's second guess
Let's
this idea.
let's not.
Yeah.
The idea is to turn your location, your event, into a hard target.
Yeah.
And that is the benefit of marked units, uniformed personnel.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be for, I would imagine, like large event gatherings,
Yes.
as opposed to like small parties for
Right.
like a business or something
Exactly,
like that.
exactly.
One guy in a Batman belt at the front door, and then the rest in plain clothes,
Exactly.
kind of everywhere else, just to say, hey, there is a guy here. Like,
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right. And so I've done off-duty jobs like that, and then I'm also in charge of security at my church, and we run everything plainclothes.
Okay.
And
that makes
so,
sense. I would imagine a lot of churches probably do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
only
know there's
time
usually like a car in the parking lot of a lot of churches,
Right.
like in the morning and everything,
Right.
but you don't usually see the officers inside. But like you said, I never thought about the plainclothes thing, so
Right.
I'm sure they're in there. Like,
right. Yeah. And you know, a lot of off-duty officers are inside those churches as a parishioner.
Well, so I do know that. So like I have an uncle. Well, So I have an uncle that he. That's kind of what he does. He went like a few weeks ago and took like his like gun test and everything, and it was another test that he had to take. It was the gun test, and then there was like the like critical thinking, I
Right.
guess, like test. But it is for him to be able to like carry a gun in the church and everything.
That's
and,
great.
And be one of the guys who takes care of things, I guess.
That's great. Yeah, and so my husband Larry and I, we run that team. We are the only law enforcement personnel that are on that team. And then we have a great group of civilian volunteers that are willing to fill that role and to help us each morning.
Take care of it.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
99% of the time, Larry and I are plainclothes. Every now and then, if we're having a major event, we'll put a uniform on.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Well, I was thinking of something as you were saying that. Maybe it'll come back to me here in just a second. It had to do with the being in the church, and so I mean, you don't have to get out any pertinent information, but like how many people are usually involved like in the church or something like that when it comes to having extra people in there?
Yeah, so it's going to vary from
Size of church.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely. And I tell my people, like, you don't have to do anything you don't feel comfortable doing. These are civilians. They are not law enforcement personnel. I have an expectation when it comes to fellow law enforcement personnel of what you will do. My civilians, I'm just so thankful that you're willing to be a part of this.
Yeah.
You know?
And then speaking of that, so you have a class where you teach gun safety correct, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So would somebody who wanted a civilian who wanted to help like in a church or something like that, is that like a class that they would have to take, or do they have to take a particular class or anything to help you?
So, Texas changed the law. This is a constitutional carry state, so you no longer have to have a license to carry. And that's a great thing because it honors the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
It's a concerning thing because that means that anybody can put a gun on,
Yep.
and they're walking around with a gun, and the level of training may not be there.
Yep.
I have civilians on this team that choose to be unarmed. They're not comfortable carrying a firearm in that situation, and they've had that conversation with themselves.
Yeah.
Which is, hey, if something were to go down, I know there are people that are trained for that, that would be confident taking that shot, and I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
I can help in another way.
Yeah.
And I've got all the respect in the world for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
My guys that...
Anybody can pick up a gun and shoot it, but you want the right person
That's
holding
right.
it. Yeah,
that's right. You're responsible for where those rounds go.
Mm-hmm.
And for my guys that do carry, yeah, brother, you better be hitting the range.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But also, like you said about critical thinking, God forbid we find ourselves in a use of force situation like that. If you have a gun on your hip, I expect you, 1, to be proficient with it, but 2, to have critical thinking skills.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have that shot, don't take it.
Yeah, no, yep.
Don't create more problems than what we already have.
Yeah, my dad used to always say that when we would shoot rabbits and things like that on the farm. It's like, if you don't know that you can kill it, don't be shooting at it.
That's
especially
right.
in the direction of like anybody else's farm. Like,
That's
really,
right.
Yeah, because that round goes a lot farther than you think it does if it misses. Like,
That's right.
Yep.
And so I've got a group of ladies from the church that I take out. We go once a month and we go shoot. And it's foundational skills, and I don't charge for that. This is all just for fun.
Yeah, well, I may have to come have some fun with these.
Yeah, come on with it.
Gun. Yeah,
come on with it.
Yeah. Where do y'all usually go?
High Plains Retreat Center.
Okay. Wait, I know where is that? That's off of.
It's 2219.
Okay. Yeah.
In between Amarillo and Canyon.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
And they've got a rifle range there, and we go out and do some pistol work. And because in my experience, I've found that women want to shoot. They want to do it.
Yeah, I think it's intimidating for everybody, but probably I think maybe especially for women.
It is, and it's nothing against my guy friends, but women don't want to learn to shoot from a man. They don't. That there's an intimidation that goes there, but it's also different. If I come up and put a hand on their shoulder and I'm like, hey, on this next volley of fire, I'm going to get very close to you.
Yep.
Just let me adjust you, adjust your arms, adjust your grip, and just squeeze the rounds off. And they're like, oh, okay. Versus having a man come up behind them like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I hope they enjoy it. I know that I do. And we go out for a handful of hours and go to lunch afterwards. And
yeah, that sounds like a good time.
There's some pistol packing mamas at the church. So
well, cool.
Beware.
We need some of them around. Definitely.
We do.
Well, neat. Let's see. So when you have your classes that I was speaking of, how often do you run those classes, and what all is involved in that?
Yeah, so the ladies, like I said, we go out once a month. As we transition to the fall, we're still going to be doing live fire, but then as we kind of get into the colder months, I'm fortunate to have a relationship with WT, and they have a simulator. And so we can go in there and use the simulator, still get some trigger time. Really, the only month we take off is December because it's just crazy. Yeah. And then we pick back up in January.
I would imagine y'all probably have a lot of off events that y'all are working around then where people want y'all. There's just a lot of things going on in December.
And so I do that, and then I'm also an alert instructor. And I got that through being in law enforcement.
Again? What is that?
Alert. And so alert is the Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training.
Okay.
And that is a lot of words to say that we teach first responders how to respond to an active attack event.
Okay.
And there's only one course that's available to the public, and that is C.R.A.S.E, which is the civilian response to active shooter events.
Okay.
And that is one of my favorite courses to teach. And it's offered at no charge. All alert courses are offered at no charge. They're federally funded.
Okay.
So if
you just have to sign up in time.
Yeah, just tell me.
Okay.
Like if you, your church, your business, your kids' little league team, like whoever, if you get the group of people together and you reach out to me, I will come and do the presentation.
Ah, okay.
And it is information specifically geared for civilians to increase your chances of survival should you find yourself in one of these events.
Okay. So it's more of a presentation. It's not necessarily like a volunteer involved like sort of thing
Right.
where you run through
Right.
situation?
No,
Okay.
no. It is not a tactics class. It is purely an information class.
Okay.
And we hear about these events in schools, but statistically, it's more often in a place of business.
Yeah.
And so this course is designed to give you skills that you can apply anywhere.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
I fully endorse it. It's life-saving information.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to do it. I love to teach it.
Well, so it sounds like you have a lot of different customer types, customer bases. So
Yes.
Beyond the teaching and things like that, what would you say your perfect referral would be for Shadow Hound Investigations? Who would come to ask you for your help that you could absolutely do anything and everything for?
Yeah, so that would definitely be like legal professionals. So I have kind of shifted from citizens. I still do some of that work, but my passion has always been in criminal work. So definitely attorneys. And I'm fortunate that I've established myself enough that that's really the work that I'm getting to do now.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm sure that's like all the stuff that leading up to it. That's the learning and everything.
Yes. Yeah,
and,
for sure.
Yeah, yep. I would say it's kind of like when you first start roofing. In my experience, it's like you have like the kind of the smaller, easier houses that are kind of like win-win kind of.
Right.
But then when you start trying to like work your way up towards like bigger houses, bigger commercial buildings, businesses, things like that, there's just a lot more entailed with the detail and everything that comes through it, and
Right.
and just like getting to be in with those people, because the bigger you get, the more they have people in line for what they need to do already. So you're
Yes.
trying to figure out what you know that's different that you can get in and kind of help with in a different way.
Right. And I've been blessed to forge some pretty significant partnerships with public defenders.
Taking care of business.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it has gone beyond what I ever thought it could.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, is there anything else we've had a really good conversation. Is there anything else that you want to say about Shadow Hound that I didn't necessarily ask you about, or that you'd like people to know?
Man, just do your research. This is an industry that is regulated. And, anybody can say, oh, yeah, I'm a private investigator, I can find this out, whatever. But not everybody is.
Yeah.
So do your research. There is an online database that is maintained by DPS where you can verify licensing, and just make sure you're working with someone reputable. Because if you hire me and I don't do things the right way and I violate somebody's rights or I break the law, you could potentially be wrapped up in that as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just know who you're working with.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks Kayla for coming in. If y'all ever have anything that you need, that you need help with in law enforcement wise, that maybe it's not something they can necessarily take care of, but you do need somebody to look into it, Kayla is a great resource. She's helped me with something in particular, and so she'll get with you. She'll make sure you have everything together. And
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. Love talking with you. Well, thanks everybody. This is the After Hours podcast for the Amarillo Exchange Group, and we'll see y'all next time.